What you'd look at for a sample workout early in the week would be a hard day, easy day. I like to go for a tempo run on the third day, steady run on the fourth day, and then a pre-meet, which would just be a shakeout or jogging of the course or run around and stretching out and some drills and whatnot. And then looking at a race day on Saturday with taking your Sunday off, giving the athletes one day off a week. I think it's important for your younger athletes that they get a day to recover. Again, you can use your discretion on that. If you have an athlete that is a little bit older, mature, can handle that extra day of running, they might want to get in an easy run that day. But when you're looking at all the differences here, a hard run basically you would be looking at going out and doing some mile repeats or 1,000-meter repeats at a prescribed time with a prescribed amount of rest. I think it's very important when you do intervals that you track the rest that your athletes are taking. So you may want to go out and run mile repeats at, let's say, 6 minutes per mile pace, and you may want to take 4 minutes per recovery between miles. And as the season goes along, when you're still doing those mile repeats, you may want to keep the same pace, but then start cutting the recovery down a little bit so they're getting closer to that race situation. How do you pick the type of paces you want to run for interval workouts? Basically, try to gear it towards the type of times you want your athletes to run. If you want your athletes to run 18 minutes for 3 miles, then you'd be wanting to work on 6 minute per mile pace or a little bit faster than that. And again, that recovery being reduced as you go along in the process can work towards getting you close to those race conditions. I think the danger here a lot of times too is running your intervals so fast that they don't get a sense of pace, because you want to have some of this carry over for race day so that they know what it's going to feel like when they're running those kind of paces. 1,000-meter repeats, the same kind of thing. You may want to look at doing 5 of those, 4 of those, and again have a prescribed pace that you want to run with a certain time interval. One thing that I like to do is to check their heart rates. That a lot of times will tell you how they're recovering between intervals. And if you find that their heart rate is still very high in between their interval sessions, then you may want to either open up the recovery, or if you find that their heart rate is low, then you want to close up that rate, the recovery a little bit. And what you're looking at is just having them test the heart rate on their throat here, and you have them count for 10 seconds and multiply by 6 the number that they get. And if they're in the 21 to 22 to 23, 24 range for 10 seconds per the count on that, then you know you got an athlete that's really overextending himself, and you may need to open up the recovery. So it's a good idea to use that heart rate a little bit early in the year so that you know where you're at.